Coming up on this program, we show you how to get connected. Find out how to choose an internet service provider. Discover the newest form of communication, electronic mail.
Ways down and ready to ride. One by one, billion by billion, they're holding up half the sky. Raise your hand if you're ready and willing, if you know it's time. Time for a girl on time. Time for a girl on time. Time for a
Hello. Oh, smoke and the green screen don't go together, but they do go together for me on a Sunday. I hope everybody's doing well. Good, the chat's working. Hi, Miss Vicky. Wasn't yesterday fun? What a lovely, sorry, I have to do that. What a lovely party that we had yesterday. Quite an accomplishment. I think a lot of you probably have a little idea of what kind of accomplishment that is, but I would urge you to times it by 100. It is incredibly difficult and incredibly well deserved. So congratulations again to Credence and Mikey. Many of you know that I went and met Mikey last year in Florida 2 years ago. My God. How the time it does fly. Anyways, we also have time that is flittering by us and we need to get going quick. Rose is calling from freezing Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. How is it? I know that there is snow in a lot of places right now. For some reason in my YouTube Shorts feed, I'm getting a lot of snow clearing videos. There's no snow where I am, just to be clear. Canadian as I am, dried up on the snow. No snow around here, but that's why I live here. What is the temperature right now? I don't know. I'll figure it out later. I need to charge my Fitbit. We need to actually get going because we don't have a lot of time. We're going to watch a little bit more of the detention dockets from Judge Kim because we didn't finish it. So let's go and do that. And I think I might just, well, we'll just see. We'll just see what happens. We'll just see what happens. I need to bring it up though, and I need to get us to the right time. Just like here. Yes, exactly there. Literally exactly there. Okay, hold on.
Can you say that again?
Yeah.
So, Heavenly, you will not see an associate judge for this, and it'll be me, and I'll make the determination. So, either do better and better things happen, or stay where you are, and you're probably going to be very disappointed. All right. So, we'll see you in 10 days. Thank you.
Thanks, Judge.
Judge Kim, this is Frank. May I be excused, Your Honor? I think Keith Daniels is here for the last one.
Yes, sir. Stay warm today, Mr. Adler.
Thank you. You do the same. Thank you, Judge.
Hassan.
Hey.
Okay. Hello, Hassan. So, I received an indication that English may not be your first language. Is that correct? Hassan, do you speak English? You do? Is that yes? Okay, I need you to speak up.
Yes, sir.
Can you say that again?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, Hassan. Where were you born?
Iran.
Iran. When did you come to the United States?
2 or 3 years old.
2 or 3 years old. Okay. In your home, do you speak English or Arabic?
Arabic.
Are you currently in school?
Huh?
Are you currently in school? No? When's the last time you went to school?
Yesterday.
Yesterday?
No, 2 days ago.
2 days ago. Okay. What grade are you in?
Eighth.
8th grade. All right. Okay.
Hey, Judge,
So, yes, Mr. Ainsley?
I'm sorry. I was just going to let the court know that we did notify the Iraqi consulate yesterday.
Didn't he just say he's from Iran, though? You notified a totally different country? I'm not laughing. I am laughing. But, yeah. Yikes.
He said Iran. But is it Iraq?
Iraq.
Think it's
Iraq.
we have in the system as Iraq.
Okay. So this is odd. I noticed his birthday is a very common birthday for political refugees. So are they here? Is Karima the mother?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Hello, Karima. Can you turn on your microphone, please?
Yes,
Okay. Is there somebody who speaks English there?
yes.
Okay. Who are you, sir?
I'm the older brother.
Older
Hussein
brother.
Fadil. Yes.
All right. Just so I can't see your face, that's fine. But what is your name so I know what to call you?
Hussein.
Hussein. All right, Hussein. So Hussein, how old are you?
15.
15. All right. So, okay. It seems like your English is much better than your brother's. Were you born here in the United States, Hussein?
No, we were both born in Iraq.
Okay. Are y'all here as political refugees?
No,
No?
not that I
Okay.
know of.
All right. So I'm not concerned about you. I'm concerned about your brother, Hassan. So, his status here, green card, citizen.
He's a
do you
citizen.
know? He is a
Yeah.
citizen.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. Now, does your brother speak English?
Yeah, he speaks English. It's pretty well.
Pretty well. Okay. So, if at any point I'm talking and you feel like your brother's not understanding, feel free to interrupt me. All right, and let me know so we can go and you maybe can interpret for me. All right.
Yes, sir.
All right. All right. So, Hassan, this is a detention hearing. When a child's brought to our facility, you have to see a judge within 2 days. I have to decide whether to keep you here or to release you. If I keep you here, you have to see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have the right to remain silent and you have a right to an attorney. Mr. Keith Daniels is your attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So, Hassan, you're 14 years old. So, yesterday, about 1 o'clock, Arlington Police dispatched a domestic that the neighbors called. They talked with your parents through the younger son, Hussein. The parents only speak Arabic. Father said he was in the kitchen. You came up to him, hit him in the stomach. Father picked up a machete to scare you away. Then you left the house wearing only shorts and boxers. So the father followed you to go get you back inside. Neighbors saw father with a machete and you in shorts and boxers, so they called the police. At some point, you put your father in a chokehold, but dad says breathing was not affected. Brother pulled you off the father, so you began punching your brother and bite him, causing pain. You defended yourself by striking and biting. No, your brother defended himself by striking and biting you. So then you ran outside again. Police took you into custody. Report says the doctor thinks you may be on the spectrum, but there's no diagnostic tests. Police talked with you and you said you were goofing around with your father. Dad said he never swung or used a machete. I guess there was another family violence case, so there's 2 within 30 days. Father signed a non-prosecution agreement. This is where you're scratching your father's leg during an argument. Okay. Hussein, did the father get arrested?
No,
Okay. Are there other siblings in the house or just you two?
just us two.
Okay. And this is your younger brother, correct?
Yes, sir.
So there's question about him being on the autism spectrum. Is your brother like, I mean, does he just go off on his own sometimes, just like wander out?
No, he doesn't have any friends here. We recently moved, so he doesn't really go out much.
Where
Last
did
time
y'all
he
move?
went out, the last time he went outside was he was at school. He didn't notify his parents, which was the reason for the last case. He notified his parents where he was, and he was gone for like 2 hours. They were searching for him with the police, and then that's what sparked the argument between him and his father for the previous case. But other than that, before after we moved, he hasn't been out at all.
So he doesn't like leave the house on his own or anything like that.
Hmm.
Okay. When you say you moved, where did you move from?
Fort Worth.
From Fort Worth. Okay.
Your Honor,
Yes.
one more detail that the court may want to know that I did not put in the report is I believe part of the altercation from this occasion began because Hassan has refused to bathe for several weeks.
Okay. There's no like, we're not concerned about mental health per se. I mean, we're concerned about him being on the spectrum, correct?
I don't know, Judge. It definitely something that needs to be looked into. But given that we just got this case today, I don't have that information yet.
Okay. Hussein, you're still there, right?
Yes, sir.
So now I know these two times the police have been called out. Are there other instances with Hassan where he's been assaultive to you, your mom, or your father?
No, we've called about him like leaving the house a few times. Like during an argument, he'll like randomly run out. We just called him, but he doesn't really assault. Just
Hold on a
these
second.
two.
Just a couple minutes ago, I asked you, does your brother just like leave the house? And you said no. And now you're saying he like leaves during
Yeah.
arguments.
What I thought you meant by that was just like randomly leaving a wander, but he like leaves during arguments when he's like scared of the cops. When
Okay.
we say we call him.
So if it's just an argument, why do you think he'd be scared of the cops?
He probably thinks he's gonna get arrested, something like that.
For argument? For just words?
I'm not sure. I don't really understand why he thinks he's gonna get arrested.
You haven't talked to him about that?
No, I don't talk to him much. I just avoid him.
Has he always been kind of aggressive since he was a small child?
No, it was when he met his friends at this is a big reason why we moved. Back in the place we used to live at, there was like a really bad like group of kids that he used to hang out with, and they influenced him to do a lot of like bad things. Like before, he used to be a really good child. Like he was very sweet and really he listened to his parents and but then he eventually met his friends, and then they kind of influenced him to do these bad things and so and such.
Right.
Judge, I'm feeling the same way.
All right. So, Mr. Daniels, let me know back. I'm can kind of throw this out there and see what y'all think as counsel. So I have a domestic situation where it seems like the parents aren't really addressing maybe some of the mental needs of this child, but that's a parent decision. I don't think it's abuse or neglect. I see a father who's claiming that there's no injuries or impediment of breathing. Nothing there is the father is the victim, which leaves the brother who has some bites and scratches. You know, in the United States, 9 times out of 10, when you have a 14-year-old and a 15-year-old, the bites and scratches between two brothers, nobody goes to detention, right?
Yeah, I agree with that, Judge Kim. And since, like you said, it appears that Hussein is the victim in this matter, since the father says he was not hurt and, apparently didn't want to prosecute. I would like to know if they want him to come home.
Mr. Nova, I mean, Mr. Nova, it's weird, right? And your spidey senses are going off. But at the end of the day, if we incarcerated youth brothers for having bites and scratches, where would this country be?
Well, Judge, when you were talking a few moments ago about the facts, I had concern about the respondent in this situation, not necessarily the family because of him. So I do have concerns, but they're not like you're suggesting typical. I want the respondent to be able to go back to a safe environment also.
I mean, Hussein, I've got to ask you, like, do you feel safe if Hassan was to come back home?
Yeah, I would feel safe. Nobody's really too worried about him like actually trying to hurt someone. We just want to like get help with his behavior. That's what they've been aiming for. We have appointments for him and everything.
Okay, your parents are going to engage in appointments.
Yeah, we have an appointment on the 20th for his mental health. We've been like the blue unit came back here and they're coming here next week from what the cops told us. And then talk to them. I also got a link to a mental health institute from one of the emergency ladies. And right now we've had like appointments set up since December, and the following one is on the 20th of this month.
I'm sorry. Do you
Yes,
mind
sir.
if I just say one other thing? I just want to be clear. When you were reviewing the facts, I have had a concern about the machete. That's really where my antenna went up. And I don't know who owns this machete, but it sounds like the dad was using it, if I understood you correctly. And I have a concern for that.
Dad never got arrested, so I'm presuming the police officers who responded found that it was either justified or didn't happen, or there's no. I
Okay.
mean, they're looking at the PC for ag assault for the father, and if they never did anything, I guess we can only trust our police officers, right?
Mhm.
This is second weirdest fact pattern. The weird one was when somebody, what was it? The argument, kids come over sleepover, one of them brought a gun. Dad came out, started shooting at his son, so the friend gave his gun to the kid shooting at dad, and then the dog got shot in the backyard. Weirdest fact pattern I've ever seen. So, okay. I'm gonna release Hassan. So let's see. So it shows Daniel is who's JPD on this one.
It'll be me, Judge, right now.
All right. So David, let's do this. Can you have Daniel follow up with the family to make sure they follow through with the mental health diagnosis? If they don't follow through, I'll order the psychological evaluation. It needs to get done. I want to try and let the parents do their job as parents, but if they fail to do so, I think the court needs to intervene. So I think we're going to need that down the road. I think there's some needs that need to be addressed. I don't know how intense the intervention needs to be, but at least we need to get started. So just tell Daniel, make sure he follows up with that. If the parents fail to, notify the court and I'll order the psychological evaluation. Meanwhile, release Hassan, and then Hassan, hey, listen to me. There's something called coping mechanisms or coping techniques. Look, if you're in situations where you're starting to lose control, you need to figure out a way that is non-harmful to other people. Okay?
Yes.
Okay. Ask for a timeout, like in a basketball game. Okay? Just ask your family for a timeout, give you a chance to sit on the couch, wind down, breathe a little bit, and just let things cool off. Okay? Things are never as bad as you think they are. Most things in life can be fixed. Okay? But most of the time it just takes a little bit of time for it to fix. So I'm going to let you go home, but you have to understand, Hassan, if you come back here and again, that's like 3 times now that I'm looking at assaults with 4 different assaults and 3 police call outs. It's going to be really hard for me to release you. All right. You have to figure out a way to wind down and cool things off. You understand what I'm saying?
Take the shop.
Hussein, do you think he understands what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think he understands. You can ask him if he understands. He'll probably say
Well,
it.
I mean, he's nodding, so I'm assuming that he
He
does.
he
If he,
doesn't talk much, but yeah. Would you like me to translate for my mother real quick?
yeah, especially about the part, and you don't have to translate right now. Whenever we're done, but just let her. Your family probably needs to come out with a technique. It's called a coping mechanism. If it seems like Hassan has impulse control issues, so there needs to be some kind of mutual understanding that, hey, look, if Hassan's starting to lose it, he needs to be able to ask, I just need a timeout right now, right? And everyone just pause. That doesn't mean it goes away. You still have to deal with the problem, but it just gives Hassan maybe, 60 seconds, 2 minutes just to sit and wind down and get composure again. So instead of escalating things, you just pause things. And by pausing, a lot of times things get better. Just make sure that the whole family understands that Hassan may need that. Okay.
Yes, sir. Hmm.
Sometimes I need that. So, okay. All right. So I'm saying the release order, I don't see a need for EM because it doesn't seem like he runs away. It just seems like he kind of avoids the situation in, well, unhealthy manner, meaning shorts and t-shirt when it's 30 degrees outside.
Hmm.
With a
Judge,
person-
may I ask Hussein a quick question before we end
Yeah.
the Zoom?
Please proceed.
Hussein, can I give you a call at the number that ends in 4758 and I'll go over release information with you?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Judge.
Great.
Do you want me to call you
All
right now? Like right after we
Oh, no,
end this?
he'll call you.
Okay.
He has some paperwork to do, but he'll call you shortly.
All right. That's fine.
All
Thank
right.
you, Judge.
All right. Thank you.
Judge.
Thank you, Mr. Daniels. All right. So that was the last one. This concludes our detention docket for today. Everyone stay warm and hopefully we won't have to do Zoom again for another year. So, all
Thank you,
right.
Judge.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Thank you.
too,
All
Judge.
right. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you, Mr. Daniels. Thank you for leaving that up there for us and duping me into thinking that there was 40 minutes of this video. I was being very quiet because I thought we have to get through that and I don't have time. But I would like to say a few things. I literally tried to duplicate myself in the middle of that. I'm glad it didn't shut down the stream because I realized afterwards or during that the parentification of that other child with him acting as an interpreter and liaison for his family during his brother's court case is not healthy. It's not acceptable. It's not what should have been done. They should have gotten an interpreter. They didn't even speak to the parents once. And I get it. Like, sometimes it's hard to figure this out, but in this day and age, we have interpretation available, and it's one thing if he wants to trust an adult child to interpret, but I find it improper to utilize a 15-year-old sibling to interpret for the parents. Very sad case. I don't know, maybe I'm just being silly, but I just think, like, we have to protect kids. And the court system fucking despises when kids are involved in court proceedings generally. So he was very respectful, Shane. He was extremely respectful. He was thorough. Of course. This is no reflection upon him except for the fact that it was inappropriate to request him to be that way. It's a parentification of that child that he will have to internalize or deal with as he grows older, because even, like, I can imagine that he's been doing this for a while. So that's my only concern. When you parentify a child, you expose them to trauma that they're going to have to deal with later. And I guess the question is, And this is what he may interpret later. Like, who's more important? Was it more important for his parents to deal with this court hearing? And he gets put to the side? You know, like, these are the questions and these are the things. This is why an advocate for them, see, that child didn't have a lawyer. The other kid had a lawyer. But ideally, somebody should have advocated and said, hey, actually, we should not have this child interpret. And if nobody's willing to stand up to Judge Kim and say that, then Judge Kim should be big enough to understand that's not acceptable. It's just not. It's something that happens to immigrant families a lot. It's not acceptable. And I just think it's a poor showing of what otherwise could be a very well-handled case. I think that the system, it's just not the way it was 30 years ago when getting an Arabic interpreter would have been just an insurmountable mountain. They know that's in the system. They notify the consulate. They have all this ahead of time. Call the fucking translator hotline. Right? Like, to me, it's just literally lazy lackadaisicalness on behalf of Judge Kim and his staff. Yeah, I said it. I mean, everybody kisses ass all the time. I just think that was lame. And it was sad. But besides the point, what was I thinking? Why is this continuing on? This is what duped me. Doopity doop doop doopity doop. I demand an interpreter who speaks Klingon. Here's the thing. Everything in that case was handled properly. They already had appointments, pre-existing appointments kept or made for this child to engage in mental health services. It sounds like they identified a problem with, report me, damn it, Donald. They identified a problem with the peer group. You know, what's funny though is Judge Kim generally, because generally people don't fully move, right? Sometimes they do, actually. That's a fairly common thread, is people moving for a fresh start. That's a pretty American thing to do. I'll say that. Canada is such a large country and so spread out that to move to a different province or a different, major city is a big deal. You heard right, Cellulite Yoga Pants. I was trying to keep that on the DL, but you know Mikey loves to blab to 500 people. Anyways, so my point being about the system is, again, remember how much money we're keeping these kids incarcerated for, and how much money we're keeping them detained for. How much money are we willing to put back into engaging their families in wraparound services? Even a quarter of the money that we're willing to spend on incarceration, if you're willing to put that back into wrapping, families in services, you will see dividends. Pays dividends. Also, early childhood education is going to be the thing that you go for most. So if you get at kids at the early level, you engage their parents, you teach them about the importance of engaging children from an early level, then, John, incarceration, $42,000 a year per inmate. But remember, these are specialized spots for children in detention centers that specialize in behavior. Some of these can cost $3,000 to $4,000 per day. They are woefully understaffed. They are possibly I think there's only a few left in different states that have lackadaisical legislation that covers them. And so what you'll find is people being sent to these facilities. They have not committed crimes necessarily. They're just being detained under the Juvenile Justice Act, and they are indefinitely detained. There's no like, oh, you do 3 months and then you get out. It's until you're good enough. And you have to remember, when you send a child to a facility like that and that facility is paid when the child is there, what does the facility have in their interest to make that child better? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Why would they want to make them better? If they were run by government entities and not for profit, I would believe it, but they're not. These are for profit enterprises, and what you have to understand is there's a lot of data now out about kids that were in these facilities, and it's terrible. So just remember that when they're willing to spend thousands upon thousands, they call it, what do they call it? Placement. In Texas, they call it placement. If you listen to it a lot, they say something like, you know, if you don't fall into line, if you don't change the way that you're behaving, we're going to have to look into a placement for you. And by placement, they mean sending them to fucking Idaho or Utah, and at some facility where it's not even doctors or behavioral specialists. I mean, it's a problem. And I'm not saying that there aren't kids that actually need to be like detained and helped. We've talked many times before. My dad worked in a maximum security facility for kids here, a jail, maximum security juvie, for kids that had killed people. So I get it. There's a need for that, but it's the very, very and we got to see this so much when we watched Judge Kim 3 days a week, because you realized, you're like, hold the fucking phone. We might sensationalize the situation that's happening, because everything, when he reads it, he's reading it to be sensational. You know, they chased with a machete, they did this, they did that. It's perfect for, you know, screen grabs and quick minutes of really sensational stuff. But the reality is, we don't often talk about what caused a child to be like that, what causes a family unit to deteriorate like that, what they could be doing. It's all just a rehash of that one moment in that child's time, you know? And a lot of these kids are neurodivergent, and it just, you know, reverbs around their face and their head. And if you don't have a strong advocate in a parent or a grandparent, we've seen both, then you may fall victim to the system if you just can't pull it together. And some kids can't. They actually can't. And again, not all of these problems would be solved if we threw money at young families, but a lot might be. Beverly, thank you for being here. You are a tiny bit late. Don't worry though, you're excused, because I have to leave class early today. I know it was a short one, but I have to switch over the laundry, get going on a couple other things, and then, but we will be back tomorrow. I think we'll do a 4 p.m. show, which is 7 Eastern tomorrow, so keep your eye out for that. And I think the same goes for Tuesday. So keep your eyes out for that. Remember that. Also, do me a favor, if you know somebody with a crazy teenager, reach out to them. Tell them it's gonna be okay. It could be worse. Watch this show. No, I'm joking. Don't send them to me. I don't know how to help them. I'm just kidding. I hope you guys have a wonderful wonderful rest of your day. I really, really appreciate each and every one of you. Do me a solid favor, though. Would ya? Do me a favor. Remember that I love you and I'm proud of you, and I will see you in the next video. Okay, bye!
Ways down and ready to ride.